Welcome to Forged at the Table. My name is Charles, and tonight I am the disembodied voice of the Forge. I do not have my camera running tonight because last night's Windows update did wonderful things to me, as did the gentleman with the backhoe today down the street that decided to cut a fiber optic line and throw me offline for 6 hours. But we're back. We are here for episode 2 of something very special. Something wicked this way comes with Bryway as your dungeon master and his wonderful group of players. I am sure they are going to entertain you tonight. We have only one announcement to make tonight, and that is the fact that there are no more Wednesday games for the duration. Bubbles is gone. I'm going to possibly try and see if there's a chance to reschedule that. Kids on Bikes is not happening, and there may be some other shows falling by the wayside shortly. We are going to try and keep things online though, but so with that, that's all there is for announcements. There are no giveaways, there's no other scheduled things or anything like that. So I am going to turn this show over to Brian and let him get this show underway.
Thank you, Charles, very much. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. When we last left our heroes, this motley band had assembled in the ruins of the Plastered Dragon, an indestructible, or so they thought, tavern, a safe haven in the magical community, impervious to mystical and physical assault, somehow exploded around them. Upon further investigation, they realized that some nefarious organization, as yet unknown, had used subtle magics to get through the wards placed around the Plastered Dragon and cause this destruction, killing several prominent local magical figures. Not being sure who the target was, the party has, after a consultation with 3 very Shakespearean-looking witches in an alley, decided to start with the heads of 2 local guilds. It doesn't seem that it was the North End Irish. I mean, it doesn't seem that it was the South Boston Irish, and so now they had headed to the North End. Along the way, Mizuki, the homeless druid girl, charmed a member of the werewolf gang, and he is now following her around somewhat like a pet. She convinced him that she was working the same mission as he was, which was to follow the people which she heretofore had been a part of, but he accepted it. And so as they stalked the party toward the North End Guild House, the fog parted, and within the fog they saw an unnatural, spectral creature. It looked something like a dog, but the proportions were wrong. The teeth were too sharp, the eyes misshapen, the paws oversized, and as it slowly slunk toward them, they realized they were in for a fight. And that is where we pick up this evening's session. So, unless anybody has anything clever that they would like to do, it might just be time for a little thing I like to call initiative.
Now, Brian, can I just remind you that Kale has heroism cast on him?
That is correct. You had cast heroism just before we went into combat last week. You can remind me of that, yes. So, anybody else like to remind me of things?
No, I don't think so.
Mizuki, anything you wanted to remind me of?
To remind you of.
I suspected as much, but no, my memory is far too good for that. My memory's not too good for that. All right, so let's get some initiative for folks here, and then we'll do an around the horn.
Ouch. 14 for me.
Oh, okay, hang on. 20. Who's got 25 to 20? Nobody. Excellent. 20 to 15?
15. I do. 19.
Okay, so Reggie?
15.
And Kyle also 15.
Keel is 15.
Keel is 15. What are your respective dexes?
+4.
-1.
Okay, so that'll go Reginald and then Keel. And I believe Zuki said that she
14.
had a 14. Okay, Pat?
8.
8. And Nitro?
7.
7. Okay. Congratulations, Zephyr. You are first. You are about 30 feet from this spectral hound as it becomes clear that it has no intention of reasoning with you.
Well, I am not advancing. I actually look around me and see if is there a trash can anywhere close by?
Yeah, I mean, there's you could probably find a trash can on the corner that you could hide behind.
Well, I'm not hiding. I walk over to the trash can and kick it over, pulling out my drumsticks, and I start with,
Okay.
"Doggy, you're a pup trying to bark big, sniffing in the street. Wanna be a big dog someday? You got mud on your face, you big disgrace. Kicking your can all over the place. We will rock you." Vicious mockery.
All right. So our hound here needs to make a wisdom save or suffer some psionic damage
15
And have-
wisdom.
and have disadvantage on his next attack, correct?
Correct.
However, he is successful with a 15.
Okay, I'm going to do a bonus action, and let's see what we got going here. Doing a bardic inspiration. You give the dead eye to our foes, you're throwing the gauntlet down. With fire shooting from your eyes, you'll burn them to the ground. You've got the pedal to the floor, our foes are running faster. You've got your sights set straight on them, and they're headed for disaster. Go Kale. Keel.
All right. Keel. Keel has inspiration from that. Well done. All right. And I'm assuming that Zuki and her werewolf friend are a little ways away because you guys are trying to stealthily spy on your friends. And
Right.
everybody else was probably kind of clustered together, though Zephyr has managed to move away. It is now the spectral hound's turn, and you see it paw at the ground. And as it paws at the ground where its talons, and they are talons, not just paws, as it hits the stonework of the street, sparks fly up. You see no damage to the street, but it digs in and begins racing toward you, and it bounds and leaps and lands in the middle of the four of you. And
Interesting.
its head turns all the way around as it surveys each of you in turn. It doesn't turn partway and then come back. It kind of owl style, except it doesn't need to rotate back when it's done. And it looks like it's taking each of you in as its eyes go wider and start to twist, and its mouth opens impossibly wide, and you hear this piercing shriek of an otherworldly nature. And I need each of you to make a wisdom save.
That's a nat 20.
That will do it. A natural 20 will succeed.
18.
18 is also a success.
18 for Zephyr.
Zephyr, you're not, you are
Oh, I'm
not.
out of line of sight? Okay, good.
Oh, so yeah, so you are out of the line of sight. It's our cleric, our ranger, our rogue, and Keel is and our paladin. Yeah.
Paladin.
Yes. So who do I not have a save from yet?
I
Keo
got an 8.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, an 8. So 18 for atavistics.
No,
uh,
sorry. 14 for atavistic.
Okay, so 14. Nat 20 for Reg. Who had the 18, or did no one have the 18?
Somebody had a nat 20.
Nitro, what do you have?
18.
Okay, and you had an 8, Pat.
Correct.
Okay, so atavistic and Pat, you take 15 points of radiant damage, and you Nitro and Reginald, you take 7 points of radiant damage as pure light energy shoots out from all directions, about 5 feet from this creature. And as the damage pierces through you, you feel it in your body and in your mind at the same time.
That was
Ow.
15 damage, correct?
Yes. And atavistics, you are celestial,
I have
or
celestial
Aasimar?
resistance.
So
Yeah.
you should have radiant resistance, which means you would take 7 instead of 15.
Perfect.
And that is Puppy's turn. Reginald.
I am going to gather insight as a bonus action
Okay.
on this creature. So I need him to make a deception check versus my insight check on him. So we're
Okay.
going to an old-fashioned roll-off.
Roll off.
All right. It's not bad. It's not bad.
That's not good, so you probably win.
Okay. Then I am going to, after I do that, I'm going to, having studied his movements and seeing how he sort of operates, I'm going to walk forward and try to hit him with my rapier.
Okay. Oh, it looks like someone cheered some for me. 500. Thank you, Jacob. I
Yeah,
believe
thanks,
500
Jacob.
is a +5 to the DM. I'll make sure I use that. All right.
Thanks a lot.
That is a nat 1 on my attack roll. The dice give it,
That-
they take it away.
That will miss.
Yep.
Your insights were valuable, but the creature was moving in such an otherworldly manner that you were not prepared for. In spite of your insights, you were not prepared for handling it.
No worries. I will, I will stay the course.
Keel.
All right. So with him being in range, I'm going to first channel my divinity.
Okay.
To, let me make sure I know what it's called. To give him a vow of enmity. So I gain advantage on all attack rolls against the creature for 1 minute.
Okay.
And then with that, going to hit it with my hammer.
All right.
Okay. Does a 21 hit?
A 21 does hit. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Dealing. That
Is your hammer
7.
magical?
It's technically yes. It's not like a magical stats, but it's magic within the world. It was previously.
Oh,
disguised
is
in
the
the crew.
it's the right? It's the +0 hammer.
Right.
Yes, that's perfectly acceptable.
Perfect. Still
That qualifies.
7 bludgeoning damage.
Okay. You swing your hammer across, and it cracks its jaw, and the hound's head snaps to the side. And when its head comes back, the jaw looks a little dislocated, and it looks at you, and it goes, "Arr," and just snaps it back into place and snarls at you. Zuki.
All right. So from when I first cast Charm Person on the train to now, about how long has it been?
Probably only a couple minutes.
Oh, okay. Like it was a very long train ride.
No, I mean, yeah, it's probably
Okay.
it was probably the closest to the tail end of the train ride.
Okay. So so I've got plenty of time left on this Charm Person because that lasts for an hour. So
Yeah, you have plenty of time. You don't have to worry about this running out in the middle of this fight.
I'm gonna look back at my new friend and say, listen, I trust these guys. I'm gonna help him out. And I run towards the spectral hound and I look back at him and I say, what are you, chicken? And then I run towards him and attack with the scimitar. Because I'm gonna try to get this guy on the fight. All right. So I'm gonna attack with my scimitar. That is a 17 plus 5, so that's a 22.
That will hit.
And it's a D6. Oh, one. It's 4.
And is yours? Is it your magic? Is it like a +1 or +0 or?
It's
Oh, it's your
a-
bracelet scimitar.
It's my
your bracelet
scimitar, yeah. So it's 1d6 plus 3.
Yep.
I've just rolled a 1.
Okay.
So
Okay, Pat.
Okay. Is there any cover in our area, like especially in between me and Zephyr, between us and Zephyr?
Not really. It's like it's a street in the
Mhm.
north end of Boston. There's shops on the sides of the road. You know, the occasional trash can on the side of the road. But mostly no.
Okay, no problem. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of like whisper down to Clovis. I'm just gonna be like, "Gainstu," and that's my thing to have him go off. And his first instinct is to go after legs. So I'm gonna give that command to him. Then I'm going to kind of move out back a little bit, kind of get in between the crowd of the individuals and Zephyr, so that way we're kind of in between that area. So in case it moves towards Zephyr, I can react if I need to, but I'm also not directly in the middle of all the stuff going on.
Okay.
Pull my compound bow, and I'm going to attack with my compound bow. I'm going to be aiming
Okay.
for his other hind leg that Clovis is not going to be going towards. I know that Clovis is going to be going around and trying to get at the far one that I would not be able to get to. So I'm going to aim for the one that is
Okay.
directly in front of me. So I'm going to go for that one. So fire with my bow. It's going to be a 17 to hit.
17 will hit.
Okay, and then for damage, it's going to be the +0 magic damage, and it's going to be 10 damage.
Okay.
And that should be the end of my turn.
Okay. Very good. Very good. And I forgot to have Clovis. I forgot Clovis was there. Can you give a wisdom save for Clovis as well? So
Oh,
we can see
yes.
whether he takes 15 or 7.
Ooh, I don't know about his stats specifically, but I can D20 for you.
Roll a D20, and if it's close, we'll try and figure
It's
out
going
what
to
the
be a
stats are.
14.
A 14 is close, so we're going to want to look. He needs a 16. So if he has a +2 wisdom bonus, you can double check while it's not your turn. In the meantime, Nitro, you are up.
Okay,
And-
I'm gonna.
Okay, our werewolf is on deck.
ha.
Where does he fall into the order now?
The werewolf is last.
All right, so I'm gonna hit everybody, or I'm gonna hit who was it that took the most damage right off the bat. So I know I'm gonna get Keel. I know I'm gonna get Reggie, and I think I'll
Reggie
get.
and Chuck the Duck both.
We made our saves, if it helps. Like
Okay,
if you can
so-
only pick a few, like a certain amount.
Yeah, I can get 3 of you. So I'll take, since you're already close, Reggie, I'll get you, Keel, and I'll go with Chuck.
Okay.
And that'll give them a D4 to add to their attack or saving roll.
Okay. So you're doing a bless on them?
Yep.
Okay. The
And then
three
I'm
of
going to
you.
use bonus action. And I'm going to hit Keel with, no, let's see, I'm going to hit Reggie with Sanctuary.
Those are both first level spells, correct? You can't cast 2 first level spells. If you cast 2 spells, one has to be a cantrip.
Okay, even as a bonus action.
Yeah, even if the spell says it's a bonus action, in order to cast 2, I've been doing this wrong for a long time. One of the D&D Beyond moderators set me straight. Thanks, subs. He's out there in the crowd, so I figured I'd give him a little love.
Then that I will let it go.
All right. Still a very good turn. So the werewolf, you see, start to run over after his new best friend, Zuki. You know, he can't let her go into battle by herself. And as he's running, you see his hair begins sprouting. His hands start to turn into claws. His snout kind of elongate. He doesn't go full wolf. He looks like he's somewhere between a hybrid between human and wolf. And he leaps next to the spectral hound, and he comes up with a massive 11 and is largely ineffective, but at least he could be a target. That brings us back around to the top of the initiative order with Zephyr the Bard.
We're gonna use my DOS loot and cast a protection from evil and good.
Okay.
Who's? Can I tell who's hurting the most?
You could try and make a perception check and see.
Not one. I have no idea.
They all look fine. They're fine. No one's even hurt. I mean, not even.
Well, heck, I'm just going to kick back and do nothing then. No, I'm kidding. Let's go with Zuki on that.
Okay, so Zuki has protection from evil and good, which I believe the effect is going to impose disadvantage on certain types of creatures trying to attack her.
Cool.
Several
Sweet.
benefits. Creatures
Alright.
of those types did disadvantage on attack rolls. Target also can't be charmed, frightened, or possessed.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. That brings up the Hound, and so the Hound is going to do two things. The first thing it's going to do is it's going to attempt to bite Kyle or Keel, sorry, because it didn't like that whole vow of enmity thing. 24. I think that will hit.
That will definitely hit.
12 points of piercing damage.
Ouch.
And then with its bonus action, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the werewolf makes 6. 6. So Zuki's plan is working wonderfully. He turns and he stares at the werewolf for a moment, and his eyes flash. But the werewolf makes his save and holds his ground. All right, Reginald, you are up.
I am going to disengage, back up a little bit away from this thing,
Okay.
and take a shot at it with my crossbow.
Yes. Which is also magical,
It
as I
is
recall.
magical. And that is a 16.
A 16 will hit.
Awesome. And that's sneak attack damage.
Yes, it is.
Because I know how this thing moves. All right. So. Oh, yes. 17 plus 6, 23.
Woo.
23 points of
more-
damage from Reginald.
That is more damage than it has taken all combat so far.
And
Keel.
he-
Right. So to start things off, I'm gonna go ahead and take a swing at it using my divine smite,
Okay.
and that's a nat 20.
Ooh.
Yes.
And do I just double all dice rolls? How does that work again?
You roll twice as many dice.
Twice as many. Okay. So for this, I'll be rolling 6d8.
You'll just have to roll twice as many.
Love it when a plan comes together.
That hits for a total of 30 damage.
Yes.
That is some serious stuff. That's enough to bring his attention back to you, because he was about to no longer be interested in you, but now he is again. Assuming he lives that long. But
Question for Zephyr: the heroism. Do I get anything
You get 4 hit points at the beginning of each round.
temporary? Right.
They're temporary,
Awesome.
but they do stack. I understand with each turn you take.
Okay. Perfect.
all right, Zuki, you are up.
All
Chuck
right.
the duck is on deck.
More of the same. I'm gonna hit him with my scimitar again.
Okay.
And that one misses. That was a 3 + 5, 8.
Yeah, that definitely misses.
Yeah.
All right. Chuck is up on deck, and Nick, our cleric, Chuck is up. Nick is on deck.
Okay, so Clovis is gonna he passed that wisdom save earlier. So now he should be getting into position where he should be able to take down an attack on the dog. So should I go ahead and roll a bite attack for Clovis on the wolf? All right.
Yep.
It's gonna be a 15 to hit.
A 15 misses.
All right, so
Just misses.
for my turn, I am going to just hit him with my bow again. Let me get a roll real fast. It's going to be a 16 to hit.
That will hit.
Okay, and then for damage, that was total way off. Sorry, it's going to be 12 damage.
Okay.
And then I'm just going to back up just a little bit more.
Okay.
Just a few feet, so that should be the half distance that I was between me and Zephyr. I'm just going to half that again, so about 3/4 distance.
Okay.
And that's it.
All right, Nick, you are up.
Keel, how you doing on health there?
Can I, as a standpoint, is it okay to answer that, DM?
Yeah, that's not really a kind of thing you could. I mean, like I said, you can make a perception to see
All right.
roughly how you think he's doing, or like to kind of scan the group, see who seems like they're in the worst shape. But
Let me see here. How about I just go for some damage? All right. How about a little guiding bolt for this fella?
how about a little guiding bolt?
How about it?
19.
A 19 will hit.
Okay. 15 damage.
Okay. And the werewolf will have advantage on his attack.
So we have advantage on the attacks, right?
Yes, well, the werewolf is on your side. The werewolf is the charmed. The wolf
Oh,
is
okay,
the zippy
yes,
charmed.
gotcha.
Not the
He's my new
spectral
best friend.
hound. Your bestie. Wow. He does not hit even with advantage.
Your
Oh.
I
best,
need
your bestie's
My
not that
best friend
good.
sucks.
Yeah.
that may well be true. I would like all of you to make a perception check for me as we come back around the top of initiative.
Oh, jeez.
15.
15,
18.
18,
24.
24,
12.
12,
6.
6,
And 19.
19. So everybody except Chuck and Zephyr notices that in the spots where the spectral hound has been injured, you're seeing flares of light. Like the light energy that seems to be making up this creature is brighter in the places where it's wounded. And when you look closely at those spots, it's almost like little sparkles are floating up off of it. It's just almost like stardust, kind of.
Any chance I could tell what this could be, possibly?
What relevant skill do you think you might have there?
Either Arcana or Religion.
Okay, give me a religion check.
21.
21. One of the things that your new best friend Jerry has told you about otherworldly beings is that some are made up of energy, and that as their bodies break down, that energy dissipates. If it dissipates gradually, it's not harmless. If it dissipates too fast, the release can be harmful to anybody nearby.
Okay. And I do my best to share that info with the group.
Well, on your turn, sure, absolutely. Unfortunately, Zephyr, the Hound, and Reginald all have things to do first. Starting with Zephyr.
Now, can I tell whether or not how healthy this thing is still?
You can give me an insight check. It'll be a high DC because it's not a thing you've ever experienced before, but
Correct.
especially with-
18.
nope, not going to be
Okay.
enough because you missed your perception check. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's got stuff sticking out of it. And because of its weird translucent nature, seeing these arrows sticking out of it, they're kind of floating in the air partially. It just looks weird to you and
Excellent. Well,
disconcerting.
I'm going to start doing some whispering directly at this beast. In your
Okay.
thoughts, despair I'm sowing, and the danger must be growing. Are the fires of hell a glowing? Is the grisly reaper mowing? Yes. Casting dissonant whispers.
Okay. What type of spell? He made his
Wisdom
save.
15. Oh,
Yep,
jeez.
but my question
It's
was
a
going-
first level.
Yeah, I was curious if it was like a charm spell or anything like that, or
No, it's not a charm.
it's just psychic damage. Okay, cool. I mean, he made it.
Freaking mutt.
And let's see, he was going to turn to the guy that shot him with the crossbow, but then this other guy just wailed on him and like nearly caved in his skull with a hammer. And so, how tall are you?
Keel.
Yeah.
6'1".
6'1". So this hound stands about 4 feet, or at least he did. You see him grow until he's standing he's standing about the same height as you and looking you face to face, and he opens up his jaws and he leans forward and he's going to try and clamp onto your head.
All
Good
right.
job, Keel. You've got this.
Oh, nat 20.
Oh,
Oh,
may
no.
not
I don't need the
have
plus 5 at the I need for you to make for me a wisdom save.
oh, that was bad.
Don't forget your +4.
Oh, that and my bardic inspiration, so I'm going to do those as well because it was a really bad roll.
Nice.
That's really nice. Total of 19.
Nice.
19 will do it.
Yes.
Thank you.
You are going to take a boatload of piercing damage, but your mind will remain your own. Which I think is the important thing here. "21 points of piercing damage. No, 24 points of piercing damage. Sorry.
Ouch.
With that, Keel goes limp in its jaws.
And Keel is
No.
kind of like dangling from this
Mm.
creature's jaws, and it just contemptuously spits him to the ground and turns. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 again. This time he's going to stare at Zuki, who doesn't need a save because of the protection from good and evil, and she cannot be frightened. So you don't even need to save.
Yay!
But you see his eyes flare up, and he tries to use the intimidation of the moment of what he just did to instill fear in your heart. And as it tries to take hold, you feel Zephyr's song within you swell up and push it out, and you stand strong. Reginald, you are up.
Reginald, because speaking is a free action. Yeah.
Get within reason, yeah.
Reginald looks over at Nick because Nick is in the circle with this thing, and Nick priorities and points over at our fallen Keel, like and just kind of like points in his direction, and then I try to get this thing's attention by backing up even further, just a little bit further, and shooting this thing with another crossbow bolt.
Okay,
19 on the die. That's gonna hit it.
that's gonna hit.
So that is 4, 6, 4. That's 14 plus 20 points of damage.
Okay, you're seeing a lot more glowing. He's definitely glowing brighter right now.
That's not a good sign.
Keel, you can't share your insight at the moment, can you?
I cannot.
But you can make a death save.
That I can.
Oh,
Shit.
That one failed.
All right,
Oh.
Keel is one death save down. Zuki,
Okay, I am going to touch Keel and cast Cure Wounds.
okay.
So that's a D8 plus 4. 4 plus 4, 8. 8 points to Keel.
8 points of damage. So his death save is cleared, and he is conscious but prone
Yes.
with a bit of a headache.
Good job.
All
Suki.
right. Chuck.
All right, so currently Keel, Nicholas, and Zuki are still in the center area, and
Yes.
then Reginald is backed away, as well as Zephyr and myself. Correct?
Correct.
So I'm gonna just quickly yell off to Clovis to be like, "Spartan!" real quick, and he's gonna run over towards Keel and kind of get right in front of him in a defensive posture,
Okay.
just ready to in case anything was to come in, and he can respond, react to that.
Very good.
And then from there, I'm gonna shout this beast as loud as I can, be like, "Come get me!" And I'm gonna just get my bow out and try and launch it right in his face.
Okay.
So it's gonna be a 26
That
to
might hit.
And then for damage, looking at 8 damage.
8 damage.
And then after I shoot that, I'm gonna run right at him, and I'm gonna get in that circle. And I'm gonna get in position in front of Nicholas, because I know that he's gonna need to be taking care of Keel, and I don't want him getting hit next. So I'm gonna get up in
Okay.
position between the wolf and Nicholas.
All right, Nicholas, you are up.
All right, gonna go over and touch my boy. Hit him with some cure wounds.
You want to rephrase that? Are we not doing phrasing anymore? Okay, what level? First, second?
I'm gonna cast it at second level.
Okay, 2d8 plus your modifier. And the werewolf is on deck, and since this doesn't affect the
16.
werewolf, 16. Okay,
Beautiful.
Keel, you have 16 more hit points, so you should be up about 24.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, this werewolf does suck. That was a 4.
And you're remembering your 4 hit points every turn, correct?
It starts on top of my turn. That actually didn't take offense since I went unconscious. I believe your spell would end at that point on me.
Does he lose heroism if he goes unconscious?
That's a good question. Because it's a concentration spell, correct?
Correct.
Right.
Which,
And I
which would be
haven't
your
taken
concentration-
damage.
Which would be your concentration, not his. But he's not conscious. For now, I'm going to say that it's still in effect, and we'll look it up because I don't want to waste game time on that. So I will err on the side of the players for this one.
Thank you.
Well done.
I am a wise and benevolent DM who accepts gifts. At any rate, so once again, we're at the end of a round. So I would like the people who succeeded on their perception checks get another perception check.
Okay.
So if you failed, you don't get a roll this time.
I
Oh,
pout.
yeah.
And Clovis didn't roll, so give me a roll for Clovis on the first one, even though he can't communicate quite the same way with you.
No problem.
Let's see if Clovis made the first one.
No, what's a
21.
9?
Okay, so 21,
24.
24,
17.
9, 17,
19.
19. Okay, so everybody who made it makes it again. And you are seeing, it almost looks, you remember in the movie The Matrix where they saw the glitch? And so like you saw the same thing and then it kind of fritzed for a second and then you saw it again. It's like that weird staticky thing where it almost doesn't look real and then it's there again. The Hound seems like it's starting to do that a little. It's very subtle, but you guys have been looking at the wounds and seeing the stuff floating off, and it looks like it's struggling to hold itself together.
Okay. Would I know what it's doing Like, would I know anything about this? I mean, with my experience in the field, like,
This is actually a creature you've never seen any creature like this before, like ever.
okay,
This
All
is and that in and of itself, given the wide array of things you've seen, is disconcerting to you.
Scares the hell out of me.
Yeah, Reg is like, I mean, I've seen just about everything, and the things I haven't seen, I've been able to look up, and
Yeah.
so I don't know what the hell this is. Where did it come from?
Okay,
And why tonight of all nights?
right.
All right. But that brings us to the top, to Zephyr.
Okay, I'm gonna go with my vicious mockery again
Okay.
and cast that at him. Do I need to sing it or?
You can. It doesn't have to be musical. You could just, insult it in some way.
Your mother reeks of elder. No, the father reeks of elderberry,
Yes. Yeah.
and your mother's a hamster.
Your mother's a hamster.
All right. Give me a D4.
3.
All right. It shakes its head and looks over at you, clearly wounded by the remark, and yet uncomprehending at the same time. It's sitting there. What is going on here? I don't even understand at this particular moment in time.
That works for me. Can I do a bonus bardic inspiration?
Sure.
Let's cast that at who else is right there in the thick of things? Is Reginald in the middle of there? Or can I tell who's?
I've taken some steps back, but I believe that Nick, Keel, Zuki, and the werewolf that couldn't hit anything, the next Disney movie to come out, are all in the middle right there.
Well, I'm going to go for Nicholas and go ahead and cast bardic inspiration on him, and
Okay.
Just push it to the limit, cause you're in it to win it. Oh yeah, there you go.
All right. Our cleric is now inspired, and it is the hound's turn. Let's see. Keel is on the ground at the moment, and with a protector in between. So the hound is going to, let's see. Chuck would be 1.
Mm-hmm.
Zuki would be 2. Werewolf would be 3, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because it would have to take too many opportunity attacks to jump outside the circle. And it looks like we are going to go at Chuck. And so it turns to you, seeing you protecting the healer, and since it can't get at the being that it wanted, instead it's going to go for you, and it's going to do the jaws of death thing again. And so it clamps onto your head, and you need to make a wisdom saving throw.
Okay.
Even
wisdom
though I'm on,
save is going to be an 18.
What's that?
so even though I'm on my back, would I be able to use my protection fighting style to impose disadvantage on it?
I'm going to say no, because you're prone. I would say that would be a little bit too hard for you to do, because it's about positioning and interposing yourself and your shield
Sounds good.
in the way, so probably too hard.
Did
Would
the
you-
vicious mockery do anything? Does that give disadvantage on the next? Was that something that
That
hit?
does give disadvantage. Yes, you are correct, sir.
All right.
So I will reroll with disadvantage instead. And I'm going to use my +5 from Jacob.
That's not a good sign.
Well, I was going to miss otherwise, so now I need a wisdom save. But you already gave it to me. What was your wisdom save?
My wisdom save was an 18.
Okay, so you make your save. You feel as its jaws clamp. You feel it's weird, because normally you've been bitten before by things, and teeth. I mean, you know what the pain of being bitten feels like. This doesn't feel like that, as the teeth feel like they're piercing into your head. You feel tendrils of energy seeping out from all of the teeth, trying to worm their way into your mind. but you fight it off. But the pain of fighting it off, you still take 12 points of psychic damage.
Okay. So that's gonna take me out. I'm gonna fall.
Okay, so you go limp in its mouth and it spits you on the ground. And let's see. And this time he looks over at Reginald and does his eye flashy thing where he's using the intimidation of the moment and his weird spectral powers, and he's trying to freak you out. So I need a wisdom save from you to avoid being frightened.
That is a 15.
A
Yeah,
15 is
+4.
plus it is a +4 or plus a D4.
Plus a D4.
Plus a D4.
Hang on.
So this might make it.
4 on the die.
Okay. Once again, you feel the energy boring into you, and you're like, and you find some resolve deep from within with those experiences that you've had out in the world, and you fight it off.
Bad dog.
All right, Reginald, it is your turn.
All right. I want to, with my bonus action, I want to do a perception check to look for any hidden creatures. Look to see if there's something summoning this creature, or if there's
Okay.
anything else in the wings. Like, is the fog still present?
The fog has receded, almost giving you guys like an arena. So there's still areas obscured by fog, but it's almost as though an area was carved out of the fog just for this moment.
I want to see if I can catch any sort of caster or the presence of something else in the mist.
Yep.
That is a 22 perception.
A 22, you are scanning. You definitely don't see anything within the immediate vicinity, and the fog is very thick and hard to perceive through, but you don't see any unnatural swirls of movement in the fog.
All right, I will take a shot at this thing then.
Okay.
21.
21. Okay. And that was with your crossbow, correct?
Correct.
And you used your bonus to reload last time, yes?
Yes, so I will not be able to reload this time
That's okay.
unless I use it next time.
Yep, I got you. Just keeping track. Go ahead
Yes.
and give me some damage.
18.
18. And Reginald says, "Bad dog," and he levels the crossbow at him, and he lets loose the bolt, and it flies straight between the hound's eyes, and you see it sink deep in all the way to the fletchings, and the dog's eyes go wide for a moment as the bright energy that you saw begins to build and then dissipate, and it turns into lots of little specks of stardust, and the hound just begins slowly dissipating into the air, and the two arrows and the crossbow bolts both just kind of clatter to the pavement.
Are we out of combat?
You are out of combat.
Chuck is still down, right?
Yes.
Can I cure wounds on him real quick?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I immediately start scanning. Like I'll run out of the fog to see if I can catch any sort of movement or anything like that.
Okay.
Now that this is gone.
Give me.
Uh,
Go ahead.
Chuck, you're 7 + 4, 11.
11 points.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Go ahead and give me an investigation check, Reginald.
13.
13. You look and you look, but you do not see any evidence of any other combatants, any other participants, and the unnatural fog seems to be receding as well.
All right.
There's still fog, but it doesn't taste magical to you anymore, and it's not as thick. You can actually see through it now.
Is everyone all right? Is anyone down?
Took a couple beatings, but I'm good now. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. Well, that was surprisingly competent for us all having just met each other.
I
was a
pull my
close one.
inhaler out of my pocket and take a couple puffs.
Reginald lightly pats him on the back as he takes a couple of puffs off of his inhaler.
Zuki
any-
gives a cocky smirk over at the werewolf and says, "How you doing, friend?"
I think all right. What the hell was that? As he shifts back into human form.
Yes. Does anyone recognize what that was exactly?
I don't. That's why I said, "What the hell was that?"
I gathered as much. Yes,
Oh.
but did anyone else who happened
He
to
leans over to Zuki. You sure you trust them?
Eh,
Not to mention, he's new to the group.
they look somewhat trustworthy. I'll stick around.
Is it possible that I could use, my experience in, the wild to try and get some information about what kind of wolf this may have been based on or anything like that? To give us some sort of insight into him?
It doesn't look like any kind of natural creature. It looks like the closest analog your mind could fathom would be that it was a dog of some kind. But it looked like it could have been part mastiff, part winter wolf. It just was a hodgepodge of twisted, misshapen dog bits.
Is there any a leftover of the stardust residue? Has it all dissipated? Can we gather up
Yes.
some?
It has dissipated, and you can see some of it floating. But when you reach out to try and grab it,
Held on or anything like that, correct?
give me a perception check for Clovis.
Okay. Perception.
Meantime, the werewolf guy leans over to Zuki and says, "You been following him too?"
It's going to be an 18.
Okay.
Perhaps a little longer than you.
What do you think? He kind of pulls you aside. What do you think? Do you think they had anything to do with what was going on at the Plaster Dragon?
I don't think they had anything to do with that explosion.
Well, if you don't think so, I haven't seen anything thus far to suggest they have. Maybe I should just report back.
Sure. Where can I find you? Is it still at headquarters?
Yeah,
Next meeting?
Government Center is where I hang out.
Yeah, government center. That's what it is.
On the Green Line,
Yeah, Green Line.
Yeah, I've been there a few
I'll-
times. It's a pretty nice place.
Yeah, I'll see you
And-
next time I'm over there.
All right, great. I look forward to it. And he goes and he shifts into full wolf and he races away. So 18 on the perception. Clovis sniffs and sniffs, but there's a strange absence of scent. You would think that there should be some kind of smells, but it's almost like the area has been cleansed.
As all this has been going on, would Keel be able to reach out to Valandris and in basic prayer just kind of ask what this was, if it was a test of some kind?
You can try.
I would like to do that.
All right, go ahead and give me a religion check for your prayer, and let me know if you're saying anything. Is it just generic prayer or something more to Valandris?
Something specifically to Valandris, because we have a pretty extensive connection, I should say. She visits me often in visions and that kind of stuff. But on the roll, I got a total of 20.
Okay.
And basically asking, what was this? Is this something that I can continue to hunt? Will I see something like this again, kind of a deal?
So you get a feeling. You don't get anything direct, but at first you get a feeling of unease, and then sharp pain inside your head, and your eyes close, and you double over and clutch it, and you get flashes of light and flashes of darkness, almost in like slash patterns across the inside of your mind. And this goes on for what feels like an eternity, but it turns out to only be like 20 seconds before you open your eyes and your vision clears again.
And then
Keel, are you all right?
Yeah, just weird things are going on, and I'll kind of share exactly what I saw.
Okay.
Yeah, I pull up my canteen and hand it to him because he looks kind of real palish and kind of.
He could probably
Worn
use a
out.
sip. Yeah, he could probably use some water.
Keel,
Definitely take it.
do you share with us like when this thing first appeared? I think it spoke into your mind, like you're of us, or but not of us.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it said. I have no idea what it means, and
Right.
You are from us, but not of us.
All right. Well, we were originally planning on going and speaking to Anthony Palazzo.
Well, I'm wondering, Reginald, do we need to clean ourselves up a bit? Maybe take a quick short rest?
Yes, I believe you're right. A short
Okay.
rest would be good, and I
These wounds.
I have to commend all of you. I've been on missions before. I've served with men and women, and what you all did tonight was very brave and, dare I say, competent. So
Hmm.
keep up the good work. Thank you, no one, for dying. That would have been awkward.
All right, so you guys go and sit down on the curb, pull out some snacks.
Woohoo,
Every-
short
every-
rest.
Everyone kind of breathes a little bit. Anybody expending any hit dice?
Does anyone
Well,
want
I'm
some
gonna
Braille
be,
mix?
I'm gonna start singing a little bit. I close my eyes only for a moment, and the moment's gone. A song of resting there for you.
So if anybody spends a hit die, they will also get an additional 1d6 of healing.
Don't mind if I do.
let's spend one as well.
So how does the spending hit die work? Sorry.
You roll one of your hit dice, which as a ranger would be a d10, add your constitution modifier, and then you also add his d6.
Okay.
And as you guys are 3rd level, I believe we said. So you have a
Yes.
total of 3 hit dice to spend per day, and at 3rd level, you regain 1 at each morning. So after each long rest, you regain 1. So if you used 2 today, you would be down to only 2 tomorrow.
Okay, so D10 with the Constitution, that was an 11, and then the D6 was a 4.
Okay, so you have 15 hit points back
Okay.
that you did not have before, in addition to the 11 that Zuki gave you from her cure wounds.
Yes, so I'm back. Okay.
All right, anybody else expending hit dice?
I
If
will.
you are,
I did.
just roll it and tell me what you got.
I got a 7 on the hit die, and then a 6 on the Song of Rest.
Okay.
Total of 16 for kill.
Okay, cool. And as you sit there resting, is there any conversation, discussion that you want to have, or is everybody just kind of sitting quietly contemplating the fresh horror that the world has unleashed upon them?
I am studying everyone. Like I'm not used to this many people. I think so. I'm probably lost in thought, but also kind of studying everyone. And
It's a bit of a large team for you, isn't it, Reg?
it's very large. I'm used to working alone, and certainly not with this many heavy hitters. So it's a lot. So
And
I
you're
was-
also probably a little distracted by the unusual nature of the creature you faced.
did it come across as anything to do with the Fey world? Like the
Mm.
look of it.
It didn't seem fey to you, though it definitely seemed otherworldly.
All right. Yeah.
And the protection from evil and good, Zuki, if you share that information that the music of that spell helped armor you against it, that would give some information as to what kind of being it might be.
Oh, I would definitely share that, particularly if they brought it up, you know. So yes, the spell that he cast, the protection spell,
Yes.
seemed to protect me quite well against it. I really didn't
Oh,
get injured during this.
all right.
Does that tell us anything?
You are of us, but not, or you are of us, but not of us. And the vision I saw, it's almost sound like a war of heaven and hell.
Is that like anything to do with those books you guys were talking about earlier? Is that like a line from? I know that there's a lot of this going on today.
I am somewhat familiar with Shakespeare, but that line doesn't ring a bell. But oh, it fills me with glee to know that amidst all of the hell and shit we've waded through tonight. Now we might be incorporating heaven and hell into the mix. So this is great. I love Mondays. Mondays are the best. Like,
Wasn't wasn't there a huge crowd of like priests and people back at the pub earlier? A lot of light
There
and a
were
lot of
some
dark
priests.
there.
There were some priests.
Weren't they like having some sort of meeting or something? I don't remember.
did the priests leave right before the explosion, or were they caught up in it?
You did not see any dead priests, but you don't remember at exactly what moment they left.
All right. Everyone, just keep your eyes peeled, and you're not children, obviously. Everyone handled themselves well, but just let's keep our eyes open. I don't like the fact that none of us knew exactly what this thing was. That doesn't happen to me rarely, and if it doesn't happen to me, I'm guessing it doesn't happen to any of you rarely. So,
Did anybody else feel how like it tried to pull into your mind? Like, I don't know. That's something new to me.
Have I seen any of this particular type of injuries from being in the hospital?
Give me a medicine check.
Well, with a nat 1, that'll be 6.
Nope, you have
Whoa.
definitely not seen anything like that before. This is all new to you. For
Some
those of us
Band-Aids on it.
following in, for those of you following in the chat, just shout out your favorite skills. I'm going to try and see how many different skill checks I can make them make tonight. So far, we've got medicine. We've had religion.
the nat
We're gonna
one
see
on
what
the
else-
medicine, though, that's like, that was the biggest cat I've ever seen. Like,
And Zephyr, you know, having cast the spell, you would know what kinds of creatures that spell would affect.
Yes, and I share that with them. Let them know I've only got it once a day, however, and I can't do it again until tomorrow morning.
before we leave, before we all, like, after we're getting close to finishing our short rest, I think Reggie would stand up, and put away his Luna bars, and after finishing his rest, and he would look at the group and say, I'm appreciative of what you've all done, but I would be remiss if I didn't offer everyone one more chance to walk away. I'm certainly not, but we are dealing with things outside of the normal realm, and if you would like to walk away, now would probably be a good time.
I actually take a look over Kiel's way to see what he's doing and what he's thinking. I've kind of grabbed onto him.
Keel's got his head down, eyes closed. He's kind of saying another little prayer for any type of guidance. But deep down in his gut, he knows that he's got to see something like this through to the end. And he takes that as his answer. So I'll turn to Reggie. I'm in. 100%.
I also nod to Reggie. I'm in.
Zephyr? Yeah. Good.
Yes, I'm in. Yes.
I think Jacob would like to see the werewolf join your team, but that may have to wait for a later episode. I'm sorry, Jacob. All right. So, having confirmed everyone's resolve,
Let's go.
you all set off for the North End Guild House.
Absolutely.
On the way there, I want to take a quick look at the road where the wolf was like scratching in to see if there's any marks or anything. Just sort
There
of kind of-
aren't any. It's actually it looks just like the rest of the pavement there.
So I just kind of look around because it just doesn't seem right to me. Something seems off. So just
It
kinda look
definitely
around.
does. All right. You look around, and like I said, the aside from the overturned trash can and some of the bits of blood from some of your injuries, though not as much blood as you would think from as hurt as you guys got, it seems like a lot of the damage that was done was internal and almost psychological.
Cool.
So you guys head toward the guild house, and the guild house it's actually above a bakery in the North End in Boston.
Ooh.
And it is actually just across the street from Paul Revere's house. It's a place called Mike's Pastry,
Oh, nice.
and they are renowned far and wide for having the best cannolis.
Oh.
And even at this late hour, it's like 8 o'clock at night. There's a line out the door and partway down the block.
Well, I'm game if anybody else is.
I don't know if we have the time to
Well,
jump in
if we're
line.
going to be talking to the Italians, don't they love cannoli?
I mean, I don't want to play into stereotypes, but they're literally next to a bakery, so that ship has sailed, right? So
I look at longing at the cannolis.
how do we? Is there a marked entrance? Does anyone have any experience talking with this guild?
I don't come north very often.
The other- Yeah, the other ones had like two guards standing outside. I don't know if we see anything that looks like a back door. You said it was above the bakery.
Yes. I'm going to say that you probably have enough experience and contacts to know where the entrance is and that it's around the back.
All right. Yes. I say, okay, if anyone wants to go get cannolis, please get me one as well. I'm not going to have you eating it right in front of me and then not want to have one. But
So I don't want to wait in line, but
Who all
I'm
wants
going to
to
try
know?
and see if maybe I can snatch someone's bag on their way out.
So you see the people coming out. They have these bakery boxes complete with like the little multicolored string, like the red and white, almost candy cane-ish kind of string tied around the boxes. And
Is there anyone that's kind of like sitting with a box that's not completely like in their hands, like and maybe sort of like attempt to stealth by and yoink real fast? Because I definitely know the Italians are going to want some, but we don't have the time to just wait in this line. So,
well, I mean, the line seems like it's moving pretty quickly, but
Well, while they're looking at this, I'm actually in the back of the line and
So-
waiting patiently.
so go ahead and give me
Pilfer or not to
an investigation to see if you notice anyone being more casual with their goods.
investigation. Oh, it's gonna be a 2.
You're looking, but it's a really big crowd. It's hard to tell who's being careless and who's being careful in such a crowd.
I head to the back. I head to the back and seeing if I recognize any of the people that are by the back door.
No, these guys aren't guys that you've seen before, but they are very immaculately dressed, almost like stereotypical mobster pinstripe suit kind of thing, slicked back hair. The only thing that marks them as different is that you notice that they don't seem to have guns.
Oh,
They're
How's-
they're not like with a typical mobster. You'd see like the little bulge of a shoulder holster or a hip holster or something like that.
How's the cell service around here?
Oh, it's adequate.
Can I do a little bit of research on the spectral dog we just fought
Sure.
on my phone?
Just tell me what you are looking for, information wise, and that'll be the equivalent of a history check. So
Yeah, I'm
think
just
about what
trying
you.
See if there's anything in particular I can find about, like if anybody had seen them before, what's going on, why would they be around if they are a portent of something?
Right. So I guess come up with a list of search terms, because this is one of those things where you could search a number of different ways and come up with a number of different answers, as well as porn for every single one of them, because it is the internet.
Spectraldog.com.
Spectral dog porn. I mean, it's just .com, spectraldogporn.com. I bet you somebody in the chat right now is going to check out that website.
exactly this. Yeah.
It's not
And
certified.
somebody else is also squatting that domain because they're like, you know what, that's a good idea. I want to have that website.
Once
right,
this
so-
podcast- yes.
So you're around the back and you see these two guys there. They look unarmed.
Gentlemen, good evening. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but I'm here with information regarding Anthony Palazzo. Who can I speak to on this late evening?
They look at each other, and one of them just kind of goes and gives you one of these. Come here.
I stroll up.
What do you got to say?
What do I have to say?
You said you had information about Tony P. What do you got to say?
I was here to gather information and inform whoever needed to be informed that Tony P has been killed tonight in accorded territory at the Plaster Dragon.
No, that's dumb. No one gets killed at the Plaster Dragon. That's the whole point of the place.
Would you like me to speak slower? Tony P has been killed at the Plaster Dragon. It happened. Saying it didn't happen isn't going to undo it. Now go speak to whoever you need to speak to so we can get this solved and figured out.
What's this we?
What's this we? Oh, I'm sorry. You have all the information and all the answers. That's right. Okay, goodbye. You're right. I'm going to go get a cannoli. Please let your supervisors know that the people that were there when he was murdered have left and you dismissed them. So thank you. Have a good night. Enjoy your
Perception check for me.
Yes.
Can I hit him with guidance?
No, you're in the you're still at the
I'm
front
outside. He's inside.
on your phone. He went around back by himself.
yeah.
And if you were to cast it, your phone would short out.
Are you ready?
Mhm.
25.
25. So as you're sitting here, giving this guy attitude, you just barely, even with a 25, see the hands of the other guy move like lightning quick, and a haymaker comes and just whizzes by your head as you duck your head back. And then the hand comes back and he moves into a fighting stance.
All right. All right. Tempers are high. You've lost someone. I said some things. You said some things. Let your bosses know that I have information should you need me. And I
got
my
a
head-
better idea. How about you come inside and you wait?
Yes, well, I have some compatriots with me. Would you like to speak to all of us, or just
He doesn't.
me?
He doesn't exaggerated. Like, I don't see anybody.
Yes, well, that's on me, isn't it? Yes, let's go. And I dust the dirt off my suit, and then very loudly and exaggerated go, well, it's me, Reginald, going inside with the two of you. Inside the room. Just me. Goodbye, no one here.
He grabs you by the front of the shirt, shoves you inside, and like sends you up the stairs.
All right.
And the guy who talked, is in so much as you exchanged words, closes the door behind him and follows you up the stairs. And his silent compatriot resumes his post. Let's go back around the front of the building. So what search terms have you decided upon?
Spectral dog appearance, spectral dog situations, and spectral dog attacks.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a history check.
Oh, finally. See, I had a 1, now I get a 20. Nat
You got
20.
20. Nat 20. So you do a fairly extensive Google search on spectral dogs, and you find a lot of stuff. You and more stuff than you would think you would find on spectral dogs, but most of it is like of the fake ghost variety, like the Ghost Hunters TV channel and about hauntings and things like that. You do find the occasional reference to something that could be considered legit, but and then a bunch of other links discrediting it. However, when you check the images tab, nothing. I mean, nothing. You like scroll through dozens of pages of images, and absolutely nothing in there looks like this thing. Looks like it was made of the same stuff. Looks like it. You don't have any eyewitness accounts of anything even remotely similar. Meantime, who's in line with Zephyr? Or is Zephyr just by himself getting his cannolis?
Nah, Keela's standing there right next to him.
All right, so Zephyr and Keel are in line for cannolis. Chuck, what are you and Zuki doing while Nick is surfing the internet?
Zuki wouldn't have gotten in line. Zuki would have the second Reggie left, she would have tailed him. She wouldn't have gone up there, but she would have tailed him.
All right, give me a stealth.
She would have tailed him very poorly. That is a 2 + 4. That's a 6.
Okay. So you clearly hear yourself making a lot of noise toward the back. It's like you trip over some boxes and so you decide from a discretion point of view not to even peek around the corner, because after making that much commotion, peeking around the corner would be a horrible idea. And you have enough training to know that. So, all right. Chuck, how about you?
I hear him.
So yeah, you do hear him. This is me, Reginald, going inside with the two. And it's like, all right.
Can
You're
I?
very welcome. Yeah.
How far away? Like, because he went up some steps to get in, but are they close though? Like, how quickly could I make it from where I am to the closing door?
You would have to. So you would have to wild shape first, which is a bonus action.
Yeah.
And then dart around the corner. And since you haven't seen it, you're not sure where the door is, but you might be able to make it.
I might be able to make it. I'd have to roll.
You would. What are you going to shape into?
Well, that's the thing. If I want to get through that door, I can get through that door. Because I was thinking like a cat's going to be too big. Even a rat, I'm pushing it because it still might be too big. But if I wild shape back into my cockroach, I can get in.
Yeah, you can.
So I run on ahead, wild shape back into my cockroach form, and I scoot in that door, or at least I attempt to.
All right. I mean, the door is closed by the time you do, but it's not so well sealed that a cockroach can't get in. And so you kind of scuttle around and
Brian, can I assume that Zuki and I have done this before? As we're walking, can I just attempt to tie my shoes? Like, it's going to buy me a second before he manhandles me, but can I just stop to see, like...
Yeah, you can try. Sure.
Yeah, I
can
attempt
totally
to tie
try.
my shoes.
He nudges you up the stairs.
Manners maketh the man. Does it give her enough time to catch up?
It does not.
All right.
Cockroach speed is a little bit less than normal speed.
How long have you lived in Florida?
This isn't one of those flying cockroaches. This is a Boston
Oh.
cockroach. Boston cockroaches are different. Trust me.
Okay.
All right. But you are in the stairwell and you're kind of like hopping and climbing and
What was that sound I made again? Yeah, that one.
that one, the skittering sound. You like the skittering sound? Okay.
That's
Glad
going
I
to take the place of the clown in my nightmares.
You're welcome. All right, Chuck, what are you doing?
So since I didn't have any luck, trying to walk off with a cannoli, and there's more people coming in the back of the line, I'm just kind of gesture over to Keel and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna go meet up with the rest of the crew." And I saw Zuki sort of
Okay.
making a bunch of noise going around the corner, or whatever. So I'm gonna nonchalantly just kind of follow, like nothing.
Okay.
Like I didn't like nothing's to be too serious, just sort of nonchalantly, like, "Oh, I'll
Right.
catch up with the rest of the group." So
You're not stealthing. You're just walking. So that
for now,
if
not
some-
until maybe
Right.
perhaps I need to see
if
anything.
someone was to look and see you there, you weren't being suspicious. You were just walking.
Yeah.
People be walking.
Yeah, so I'll be heading towards the entrance.
As you round the corner, you note that Zuki isn't there.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So we're in like an alleyway, right?
Yeah, an alleyway, and there's light
Sure.
coming from the back.
Okay. Possible I can do like a look around to see maybe where she may have gone off to.
You don't really. I mean, it looks like the only place to go from here is around the back of the building.
Okay. I'll go ahead and head up to the corner and then just sort of like peer around real quick around the corner because I did hear a lot of weird noises, so I'm not really
Yep.
sure what could have happened.
All right. Go ahead and give me a stealth check.
Stealth check, okay. Should be close. It's gonna be a 17.
17. You quietly put your fingers around and you just kind of peek your head around the corners, like just the top of your head and your eyes are peeking out so you can kind of see what's going on. And you see a man standing with his arms crossed by the door wearing a nice Italian suit, with his hair slicked back, and his head just snaps to the right and he looks you in the eyes.
Well, there's no point in trying to be stealthy anymore, so I'm just gonna like kind of nonchalantly go around, like, "Hey, Reg, is he here?"
Red Shoe?
Really? Okay. So I'm gonna kind of like look over to Clovis real quick and see if Clovis can maybe smell where Reginald or Zuki may have gone off to, because he
Okay.
should by now kind of recognize their scent.
Yep. That'd be a fairly easy DC perception check. And refresh my memory. Do you guys communicate telepathically or?
Not necessarily telepathically. We just have like a really good kind of feel where I just like
Okay.
I kind of look over him and it's kind of like I've recognized his kind of symbol, like how he moves like that. So like,
Gotcha.
hey, Clovis, where they at? Kind of a thing. I'll kind of say that real quietly, like, where they at?
Alright.
And then he'll start kind of looking off and sniffing on him for him.
And he does. He sniffs, and he kind of cocks his head at the door. What'd you get?
Nat 1.
And then he like cocks his head like down the alley, and then like at the back wall, and then he kind of whimpers and does one of these.
It's that cockroach scent. It confused him.
He's clearly afraid of cockroaches. Meanwhile, the two of you get up to the front of the counter, and you see that it's not just a cannoli shop. I mean, they have all kinds of Italian pastries. Like, this is some of the best Italian pastry you've ever seen. And there are flavors of cannolis there that you're like, mint chocolate chip cannoli? Seriously? That's
Oh
just
my.
random. I mean, there's classic, of course. They have the traditional, but they also have a wide assortment of flavors. And these are sizable cannoli, too.
Well, I think we're going to stick with the cannolis. What's our money situation? I don't know if we've talked about this or not.
You guys have a certain amount of disposable income. Typically goes toward magic items. If you're not buying anything outrageous, you can assume that you have like some pocket money and like you
Okay.
just got paid for a gig and stuff like that.
So, well, that's true. I talked to the guy behind the counter and asked him for 2 dozen cannoli, all assorted, if he can give me a good mix of that.
Yeah, we do that all the time. That's not a problem. All
That'd
right,
be
hang on.
awesome.
Like, hey, 2 dozen. And some younger workers scurry around behind him. He's like, just step down here. And next. And you walk down the counter and you see them scurrying around. And then they go and they bring the box. They wrap it up with the bakery string. It's really fancy and nice. And they plop it down and they say, that'll be $42.50.
Awesome. I kind of roll my eyes and don't really give it a second thought. Reach in my pocket and pull out the money.
Okay. You buy the cannoli and you head outside where Nick is sitting there scrolling through image after image after image and looking for something that matches. Meanwhile, back inside to Reg, you are led up to what looks like kind of a casual room. Like, it's got a card table, it's got a bunch of chairs, there's a TV. It looks like it's probably for, guild members just relaxing while they're waiting for an assignment or something. Just, hey, sit there.
Out of character completely for a second. I'm not a huge fan, but does anybody just desperately want a cannoli now? Like, is anybody else just like want this to end and is looking on their phone for like, I wonder if there's a cannoli place open at that. Yeah, Reggie sits down in the chair. He wipes it off with his hand and he looks over at the man. He's like, "Do you have any magazines? Something to? Do you have maybe a home and garden?"
He says, "Yeah, I'll go grab you a copy of Modern Bride. Sit down and shut up."
All right, geez, somebody snippy.
And he wanders off down the hallway, and you kind of scuttle into
scurry-
the room.
Yeah, I scuttle into the room and I scurry up his.
His pant
Actually,
leg.
there's nobody else in the room right now, right?
That's right. There is nobody else in the room.
Okay, so we've done this bit enough times that if I do, I have like an antenna wave I can do that he knows it's me. Do I have some way to let him know?
Sure,
I done this?
absolutely, yeah,
As
absolutely.
long as you act it out.
I scurry.
Hello, my
into
baby.
his
Hello,
view
my
and I
hunter.
do my, like,
What was that again? Can we see that? What was that again? Yep, that was it. That was it.
I go, it's a cockroach, and I and I go to pretend like I'm going to hit it, and then put my hand down so she can crawl on top of it. And when she does, I give her one of these. I go, huh? And then I put her in my my coat suit jacket pocket and say, "Well, it took you long enough, dear. Let's see what happens."
All right. Eventually he comes back with another guy, also immaculately dressed, much less bulky. This one he looks more finesse than the last guy did.
Do I recognize him?
You do not.
All right.
He says, "So, yeah, Mikey here. He tells me you got a bit of a mouth on you."
I do, and I would like to apologize, but I'm not going to.
That's fine. That's fine. But I mean, if you're coming here to our home, and you're gonna tell us our friend is dead, seems like there's a better way to do it.
I would agree with that. I would also like to counter with, I had information to give, and I was delivering it with respect, and the two gentlemen outside were nothing but disrespectful to me from the jump, and I will return in kind. I do not wish any harm to any of you, and I did not need to inform you of what happened this evening, but I'm willing to share all the details that I witnessed to further your investigation. So if anyone has been disrespected this evening, I believe it's me.
Okay, we'll take that into consideration.
Thank you. I just peed a little. Everyone here is so big. They're very large men.
That's how we like to do business.
I understand.
Big burly men.
So, Mikey, go on back downstairs. I got this. Mikey
Who do I-
scowls at you.
Goodbye, Mikey.
Turns, walks out.
I love you.
You get a bit of a grunt in response, and door
I-
slams the bottom of the stairs.
I immediately, my demeanor changes. And
Okay.
I say, who do I have the pleasure of speaking with?
I guess you're looking at the new leader of the North End Guild, but you can call me Matthew.
Matthew.
Matthew Lindegard.
Matthew, I am very sorry for your loss. I don't know if you were close with the deceased,
Meh.
but
It was all right.
all right. Well, this is completely different than the previous exchange I had this evening.
Previous exchange? What do you mean?
I don't know if you were aware of this, but Anthony was meeting with Liam Murphy.
Oh yeah, they do that like once a month.
Liam Murphy was also killed this evening
Now that's interesting.
in the same explosion that killed your former leader.
Well, I guess that makes sense. I mean, they were together. If one of them died and the other one didn't, that would be suspicious to me.
Right, right. Now,
But I guess that kind of absolves both sides on that. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not going to go after the Irish, and they're not going to go after us.
insight check the minute he says that.
Sure.
That is a lot.
Well,
That is a 19 on the die. and 8, 27.
Do you get the feeling that he's playing straight with you, that he's just kind of analyzing the possibilities and looking at it how someone else was? It's not like one of those a wink and a nod, or he's giving you a veiled reference to,
All right.
you know, I think we just might have gotten away with this. It's more, yeah, they'll look at this and see that our guy is dead. We'll look at it and see their guy is dead. So nobody is going to really think much about it.
Well, Matthew, I will. I share all the pertinent information that I discovered, and I
Okay.
don't withhold anything. I don't need to make any more enemies. But I go. I'm very sorry. I will leave you to do whatever sort of changing of the guard you need to do this evening. If you would like, I am investigating this for personal reasons and for other parties. If you would like to be in contact with me, I'm sure we can arrange an exchange of information as time goes by. But I also assume that you will have your own men investigating this as well.
I think it's fair to say that we are going to be looking into this, and we appreciate the information. How can I contact you if, say, I come up with anything, or if I need to ask you anything?
I hand him one of my business cards, and it has, a phone number. It doesn't have an email address or anything like that. It just says, the agent, and it has my phone number.
Now, so you tell him about the events at the bar, yes?
Okay, so I will say this. There was an explosion. There were multiple dead bodies, including Liam, Anthony, and I will say a member of the Fae Court. And I will gauge his reaction after I mention the member of the Fae Court. But I won't say anything about the tattoos. And that
Okay.
we discovered that they died of a heart attack. Does that make sense?
Okay. So you're not going to mention the tattoos, and you're just going to say all of the guys died of heart attacks. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Give me an insight check.
That is less. That is an 11.
You don't detect any change in his expression when you say anything about the Fae Court.
All right. Yeah.
Do I get an insight on that since I'm technically in the room? I mean, because
Yeah.
I could be on the edge of his pocket.
Sure. Why not?
Yeah, no, that's not super helpful. That's a 10.
And he says, all right, well, I appreciate your time. I appreciate your consideration. If I can help you in any way, just let me know. But one thing that I wanted
Yes.
to ask you.
Of course.
Did anything unusual happen to you, on your way here tonight?
Yes, as a matter of fact, it did.
Really?
Did anything unusual happen to you this evening, Matthew?
I guess it depends on your definition of unusual, but I would say at the very least out of the ordinary.
Spectral dog.
I'm sorry?
Sorry, I have a weird form of Tourette's. It makes me spout things at the mouth. What was your weird thing?
No, go on about spectral dog. I want to hear this. This sounds good.
All right, so a spectral dog walks into a bar, and the bartender says, "We don't serve spectral dogs here." And the dog says, "Well, that's rough."
Zephyr is so happy he's not in the room.
So, in other words, you're just gonna mock me. That's fine.
No,
That's
I'm
fine.
not mocking you. Information is key in situations like this. As we were approaching you, we were attacked by what I can only describe as a large spectral dog, and we almost lost a member of our crew. So that's what happened to me this evening, and I'm going to guess by the way I was treated here and by the politeness of which you're conducting yourself that it was not of your doing, and for that I'm appreciative. Would you like to share what happened to you this evening, since I've bared my spectral dog soul to you?
Spectral Dog Soul, name of my new band.
Called it.
Got it. Got him. You know, I suppose I can share with you a little bit of information, and that's where we're going to take our break.
Oh, you bastard.
What?
We need a break. We got to take a break. You know, I'm up against it. You know, it's like the clock. I'm up against it. What can I do? Charles, back over to you.
All right. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us tonight here for episode 2 of Something Wicked This Way Comes. Remember that if you guys want to jump in on any games here alongside either some of these fine people or the disembodied voice you're now listening to, all you have to do is drop a follow or be a follower of this channel, get involved over on the Discord, and not making any promises, but we will try to get you into something. It may be nothing more than a big elaborate bubble bath, but we'll try to get you in there. So with that, we're gonna go ahead and head to break. We're gonna be back in about 5 minutes. There goes my mic stand. It just fell. So yeah, this kind of a night is beginning to happen. So now I'm holding my microphone. So we'll see you all in 5 minutes as my studio collapses. Peace and take care. All right, thanks for hanging out again tonight for episode 2 of Something Wicked This Way Comes. We are in the process of actually trying to get this to become a weekly show here on the channel. But again, like I said earlier, there are things happening in the background, so we're gonna work it and see if we can. If we can't, well, we'll try something else. Alrighty, so I'm thinking about possibly doing a giveaway tonight, so keep your eyes on the chat. I am not going to announce it other than the fact that I will post a mysterious magic word, but the giveaway will be for that dice tray in that link. It is actually sitting here right behind me. That is the Spellbook Easy Roller dice tray. You hear thumping right there. That is the black and gold one. So I have that one and I have the wolf one. So maybe, just maybe, if you pay attention to the chat tonight, you might actually see that one given away. And as always, if folks want to come over after the show onto the Discord and voice chat, some people may be in voice chat, some people may not be, but it's always worth a look because it's always some good times. So I am going to turn this back over to these fine folks and let them get their game back on the road.
When last we left our heroes, just before the break, some members of our party had just acquired cannoli. Others had asked their trained animal companion to sniff out their friends. Others were surfing the internet for spectral hound porn. We don't judge. But our secret agent and our cockroach were in a room.
It's a new show on Disney Junior.
Secret Agent and the Cockroach. Disney Junior. They're reaching hard now, but you know, I believe in them. I don't believe in them. Had just revealed some unusual events from their night, and Matthew Syndergaard was about to share some events from his evening as well.
Good Lord, Matthew, the pregnant pause you just took seemed like it took 7.5 minutes. What information?
Yes. Well, I mean, I was pausing for dramatic effect. I thought that was the kind of thing that you would appreciate. You seem like the kind of guy that goes for that sort of thing. I'm sorry I misjudged you.
No, I can appreciate it, but please, the suspense is killing me.
Yes. So, here in the guild hall, we have certain, shall we say, artifacts and objects of a useful nature, and
Understood.
one of them reacted strangely earlier this evening, and then it reacted again maybe 15, actually about more like an hour at this point, and it started vibrating and blinking, and it only does that in the presence of strong extra dimensional energy. We use that to figure out when major dimensional events have happened so that we can be on our guard, so that we can start sniffing out. It helps us with our hunt, if you know what I mean.
Brian, timeline wise, this is going off when the explosion is happening and when the spectral dog is happening, correct?
Yeah, that seems about right. When you guys compare timelines, that's kind of where you come out. That Like
All right.
maybe within 5 minutes of when you saw the spectral dog was when this blinker was going off.
Mike, I'm not sure you would let me, under your supervision, see this object, would you?
It can't hurt. I mean, if you want to look at it.
Please, and like I said, under your supervision, just to take a look at it, please. You never know, any little thing could help.
All right, so he leads you down the hallway and into a side room, and he puts his hand on the door of the room, and when he does, the door glows, and then he opens the door. He says, "All right, it should be safe for you to go in now." And you notice that when he did that with his hand, you saw a bunch of arcane runes glowing around the frame of the door.
All right.
Can we read the runes? Like language?
What languages do you speak?
Common, Sylvan, and well, Druidic, but yeah.
And Reg?
Just Sylvan.
It looks like they might just be arcane magical symbols. They don't seem to be of a particular language to either of you.
Can I do can I admire them? Like, this is fascinating, but try to
well, they don't they only stay lit up for as long as his hand is on the door, and then they kind of fade back out.
So I couldn't even try to memorize them and show them to the rest of the party.
I would give you a perception check with a really high DC.
All right. Well, luckily, perception is my middle name. Not today, it isn't.
Reginald
I have a
Perception makes
different middle name. It's a different middle name. It is a 17.
They've come and gone before you. It's like you realize what they are, and as you're trying to figure out, you realize you don't understand them, and then they're gone.
Understood. Yes, we just go into the room then.
Zuki, did you want to try as well?
Yes.
Oh yes, absolutely. It's not my middle name either. That was a 12.
No, you must have fallen into the pocket at that moment, and you're like climbing your way out. And he takes you into a room, and you see a lot of smaller sized trinkets. This doesn't look like an armory per se. It looks like some other kind of magical devices room, but there's a shelf with a bunch of different crystals on it, and it almost looks like they're slotted into a wooden tray, like a beer flight tray, except for magical stones, and there's more than 6 of them. You wouldn't want to drink this many beers in a sitting. I don't
Speak for yourself.
Okay,
All right.
fair enough. And he points you to the stone in question.
And you said this is the one that lit up, and it deals with dimensional rifts.
Yeah, exactly. This is it's for planar disturbances.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. And what do the other stones detect? Other dimensional rifts and things like that?
Well, most dimensional rifts may activate more than one kind of stone.
Understood. All right.
And some of these do other things that help us in our mission.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the candor and the forthrightness in sharing your collection. If you have my card, if you are ever looking, find yourself with an abundance of stones, anything to help give us the upper edge in finding out who did this by tracking them when a rift opens. Please let me know. I have money and resources at my disposal to be able to offer you in exchange, perhaps.
We will consider it.
Please do. And do you have any connection with the cannoli place downstairs? I would love to just bypass the line. Is there a fast pass or something, an express pass?
No, I mean, we do have a connection in that Mike is one of our members, but we try to respect his process as he
That's fair. That's fair. All right. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Yeah.
And
I'll show you out.
please.
And he goes and he like gestures to the door to make sure you guys go first.
All right. Yes, we do.
Do you go? Do you go as well, Zuki?
I'm still in his pocket.
Well, right, but you're also a
Oh.
cockroach.
Yeah. Now, would I be able to get back out the door on my own, even if it's closed?
Get ready
Because
for
I've
it.
been able to scope it out.
You could certainly try.
Knew it was
No,
coming.
That's a
I'll
new.
stick with him.
Okay. All right. So meanwhile, Chuck, what are you doing there at the bottom of the stair, outside the door with the fairly burly man?
So, first thing that I would be doing is I'm gonna ask again. I'm gonna kind of get some details, like Reginald wears like a trench coat kind of a thing, kind of a detective-looking guy. You're sure he hasn't come through here? Okay, that's not very helpful there, man. So is that
And
a yes? Or
The
is that a
door
no?
opens and another guy walks out and closes the door and takes up position on the other side of the door. Gives you one of those.
I'll kind of turn to him. Maybe you're a little bit more helpful. Hey, have you seen a guy named Reginald? He came this way. He's supposed to be meeting up with your boss. He's here?
I don't recall any Reginald on the appointment ledger, but hang on, let me check. And he holds his empty hands up and opens it. Nope, no Reginald.
Well, we didn't have an appointment, but I'm pretty sure he would have been on his way over here.
Oh, that's different. Why didn't you say so?
I thought I did. My bad. I must have misspoke.
All right. Apology accepted. And he goes back, crosses his arms, and stands there.
All right, I'm gonna take that as a no. All right, well, you gentlemen have a great, fine day staying here, whatever you want to call it.
Hey, you have yourself a fine evening as well. Be careful. It's a dangerous world out there.
So before I kind of walk away a little bit, I'm gonna just sort of sum them up because they're kind of throwing me off a little bit. So I'm gonna just try and take a quick look, see if I can notice anything that may give us an advantage or anything. Kind of figure out what do we need if we have to try and take these guys down for any reason.
Okay. Give me a perception.
It's going to be a 23.
A 23. You notice that they are very well muscled, that the suits are comfortably fitting to allow ease of movement. And you notice you don't see any weapons on them. They seem to be unarmed. But it looks like the guy who talked to you has some very nice low profile body armor under his shirt that you might have missed previously. The other guy seems to be unarmored entirely.
Okay. So I'm gonna kind of back away a little bit, kind of head towards the corner of the alleyway, to where we're out of, kind of a whisper communication level, but that I can kind of still see him. And I'll pull my phone. I'm gonna call Keel.
Okay.
I'm gonna call Keel, and I'm basically gonna be like, "Hey, man, what are you doing?"
All right, Keel, your phone's ringing.
I'll answer it. Hello?
Yo, Keel, where you at?
Getting a cannoli?
Oh, you still on that line? Yeah, it's a good thing I didn't go in there. Hey, Reginald and Zuki are just like gone. Like I think they went inside, but the guards here are being really shifty. And there's a lot of weird noises going on here. I'm not entirely sure it was good. We may have to try and deal with these guys.
All right, I'll be over in just 1 second.
Yeah,
Sure.
okay, but maybe bring those cannolis. They may be able to help.
At
right,
this
so-
point, do we have them in hand or?
You have them in hand. You've paid for them. You're back outside, watching Nick cycling through the images, trying to figure out what he can find out about spectral hounds.
Now, just to be clear, these are my cannolis, right?
Yes, those are your cannolis. You bought them. You get to decide on the distribution and disposition of the cannolis.
Actually, when we leave the bakery, I untie the strings and open the box and offer one to Keel
Oh,
and whoever else is standing there.
And 2 dozen is actually more than 1 box worth of cannolis. These are big.
Sweet. So I hand him a box.
Okay. So Nick, what are you doing?
So I'm done searching around the internet. So I'm gonna tag along with these guys. So where's Reggie?
Just got a call from Chuck's. He said that Reggie and Zuki are missing. They want to check out the back. Maybe we can find them.
Sweet cannolis, I see. Hook me up.
Offer one to Nick.
All right. So you guys head around the corner to where Chuck is carrying 2 boxes of cannolis and like eating cannolis. Kale has like some crumbs falling from his mouth. He's,
What's up, Chuck?
Did your mother not teach you not to talk with your mouth full?
Mm-mm.
Well then. Anyway, here let's move a little farther away. That way we can. Sorry, let's move a little bit farther away. That way they don't hear.
All right.
And I'm basically gonna tell them everything that I noticed. Sorry. Give me one second.
and while he's filling you guys in on what's going on, you guys have ducked around the corner. Matthew escorts you guys down the stairs, opens the door, and says to Reginald, "You have yourself a very fine night."
Thank you, Matthew, and the hospitality is very much appreciated. Good luck, my friends. Call if you need me.
You do the same. We'll keep you posted.
Yes, thank you very much. The
And
minute
then he turns.
he closes the door and goes upstairs.
Yep.
And then I turn and look at the gentleman who escorted me upstairs and said, "See, me and Matthew, we go way back. We're old college roommates. Good luck with your production of Guys and Dolls. Don't worry, you will get Adelaide. Don't let the critics keep you down." And I go and I join the group that I see gathered outside the alleyway.
All right. You guys hear Reginald's voice.
Gentlemen, hello. Oh, sweet. Somebody bought cannolis. I've just been thinking about that. It's been on my brain. I have a proposal. It's getting rather late in the evening. Why don't we call an Uber and maybe go back to my place and enjoy these cannolis, maybe make some coffee and do an information dump and plan our next move? Are there any people that are opposed to this plan?
How far is your place?
How far is my place, Brian?
Your place is, you can't really afford to live in Boston proper. You're kind of in one of the northern suburbs. You've got an apartment in Bedford. It's probably from where you are about a half-hour, 40-minute drive.
Is anybody closer?
I'm probably closer. You don't want to go to my place.
Well, you probably aren't going to share where your place is with anyone.
No.
I don't even think Reg knows where your place is.
Is there I don't know, the equivalent of a safe house or a trusted pub, a tavern? Is there close to this vicinity?
Yeah,
that
I
there
mean,
was
like,
this pub. It exploded
The
a
Plaster
little while ago.
Dragon, maybe? Oh.
Well, hang on. The Plaster Dragon is a chain, so we could be like, no, let's go to the good Plaster Dragon. Like,
It is a chain, but it's in different cities.
understood.
Oh, okay.
There is only one
does-
Plaster Dragon in the Boston area.
Does Reginald have an office?
I mean, we could just go to the police station. My dad's old partner is there. I'm sure he'd be more than happy to let us stay there.
I don't know how comfortable I feel about that.
No,
Me and
no.
Authority figures don't really get along.
Hey,
Um,
has he gotten a cannoli yet, Reggie?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I've
I'm-
been very generous with
He got a
cannolis.
cannoli? Okay, so I'm gonna scurry out of his pocket across his hand. I'm gonna walk across the cannoli with my little roach legs, and then I'm gonna pop back into my like Zuki form and put out my hand to take his cannoli.
I would like to contest this. The minute I see her crawl on the cannoli, I will throw it as far as I can. Please.
All right, both of you give me a dex check.
13. That's a 15.
Oh, a 15 is good. It's not as good as my 24, though. So you're taking a rip.
So your cannoli goes. You fling your cannoli down the alleyway.
Yes.
Are you going to ride the cannoli the whole way, Zuki, or?
Sure, I'm riding a cannoli.
Ride the cannoli.
Don't do it, Billy. Don't do it.
Not. I'm not. I'm muting my microphone to stop myself.
All right. You are shattered out of your cockroach form as you hit the ground, and zap back into your normal form and take 1 hit point of damage.
I pick up the cannoli and I give a
No, it-
self-satisfied smirk as I take a bite of the cannoli as I walk back towards Reggie.
So when Reggie throws the cannoli, you know, Clovis's first instinct is to go chasing after it. So he's like right after it, and then as soon as Zuki like transforms, he freaks out and like starts barking at her like mad because he's surprised. And I'm like, heal, Clovis is good. She's good.
This is
So you
why
have
we
a
can't
dog
have nice
barking at you.
things. Yes.
As you eat your cannoli. Hey, and Zuki,
Yes.
so there's this dog angrily and fearfully barking at you. Give me an animal handling check. There you go, Jacob.
There you go. Not bad. 16 plus 4, 20. Not nat.
So you kind of put out your hand in kind of a calming gesture, and you make like little noises, like clicking noises with your tongue and everything, which doesn't seem like it makes sense to anybody else. But Clovis kind of cocks his head sideways at you and sits.
Yay, we get along just fine.
That kind of does one of these with his paw.
Yeah, I'll give him a little piece of my cannoli.
He catches it in midair and he walks over and sits next to you.
Hey, Brian, can I make a survival check to see my layout of the city, how well I know it, and find a good place for us to debrief?
Sure, you could do that.
Unless you have a better suggestion.
You may want to see if anybody in the party has.
I've got like city secrets. I mean, that's about traveling, but I kind of know the ins and outs of the city really well.
I'm
So
all
maybe
about survival.
Maybe if you assisted her on a survival check instead.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Roll with
I would gi-
advantage. Suki.
I would give her advantage.
Yes, got it. Wow, I rolled 2 7s.
Oh,
Mm.
But now it's a +6, so that's a 13, but still. Wow.
But I mean, you know of some places in the city. In particular, there's this one Denny's that's not that far that is typically not all that crowded. At this hour of the evening, they don't get busy till like midnight, 1 a.m. when all the college kids start rolling in after the parties. So
Hey guys, there's this one Denny's that's not that far, that's typically not very crowded.
really, really,
well, yeah. Let's go though, because around
You're welcome.
around 1, all the college kids start coming in. So let's leave now. Like,
I see how it is.
yes, we head to the Denny's and grab a booth.
Okay. And Clovis has a service dog vest, right?
Yes, he does.
I will fill them in on everything that I encountered. That I spoke with the new head of the guild, Matthew, and inform them that they have a particular crystal in their possession that glows in the presence of extra dimensional travel or interdimensional extra dimensional travel or rifts opening, and I believe that it opened twice, once when the explosion went off or around that time, and when we fought the spectral dog in the alleyway. And I would also inform them that I don't think that he knew of anything that was going to happen to Anthony Palazzo or Liam Murphy.
Once he mentions that, I'm gonna try and think back to the incident where I first experienced an explosion like what had happened at the Painted Dragon, and I'm gonna try and see if maybe I can remember if anything was similar between that and the incident with the Shadow Dog.
Like what?
Any like if the light was the same or if they're having these little flicker things are the same, just if there's any link that could have been somewhere between the two of them, since he mentioned that it made this item go off on both. Just trying to think back.
Okay. Go ahead and give me an insight check.
Insight, okay. It's going to be a 15.
Really, the only similarity that you see is the similar coloration of the energy that was involved. So the energy of the explosion, the energy of the spectral hound seemed like they could be similar.
Okay.
Keel turned to Reggie. Besides that one crystal, was there anything else in that room that interested at all?
There were plenty of magical items, and Matthew seemed more willing to work with us and to share information. And I spoke for the group, and for that I do not apologize. But I made it clear that we would work for potential information and exchange information with their group, and he seemed amiable to it. There were other crystals there that apparently light up under different circumstances. It was much more arcana based at this particular place than when we visited the Southie Guild. I'm not even sure the gentleman that was standing outside, the two nicely Johnsons had any guns on them at all. So they definitely have one foot in the ether or a stronger connection to the magical side of things.
Yeah, I'll agree on that. They had no weapons. One of them had armor though, the little smaller one at the end. It was very well hidden.
I have a suggestion, but it's not a very good one. We've followed up leads with the Southie Guild, and we've also followed up leads with the North End Guild. We could conceivably rest this evening, meet up in the morning, and see if we could make contact with the Fey courts, specifically the Summer Court.
Well, that sounds exciting.
You say that now.
Exciting is a word. It moves us into a different weight class. Dealing with the Fae, they deal in trickery, they deal with deception, and there are certain guidelines that we should go over before we talk with them or speak with them. But it seems the next viable option if I were working this case alone. I would rather go and approach them rather than anyone involved with the Brotherhood of the Crimson Blade.
Would she have dealt with anybody in the Fae, or for her would this be just
This is
fairies? Yay!
This is new, but this is fairies and potentially very exciting.
Yes, got it.
This
Okay,
is yeah.
let's do this.
Reginald shakes his head. Then if it's something that you're all interested in, I need you all at your best. I need you all to rest. I need you all to prepare. Nick, I don't know if you have a shift this evening. We were only promised last evening, but tomorrow morning, can you make yourself available? Keel, Chuck, Zephyr, I'm not used to working with a team, but I would appreciate any sort of backup.
Yeah, this is more important than anything I've got going on.
I don't have much experience with the Fae or anything, but I mean, we seem to work well together. So I'm definitely down for helping you guys out.
Well,
They-
I already
that-
lost my gig at the Plastered Dragon, so so yeah, I'm with you.
All right. Then let's go over some guidelines and we'll talk about it more tomorrow. And he gestures everyone to lean in close and sort of pushes his moons over my hammy to the side. And we are going to be dealing with people that communicate on a level that we are not used to communicating with. There are certain rules that you must adhere to when dealing with the Fae. You must not accept any gifts from them. Anything that they offer you, turn it down immediately. If they offer you food or drink, do not accept.
Hey,
Any
hon,
bo-
do you want another cup of coffee?
No, thank you, Flo. Please go away. I love you. Okay, bye.
She wanders off. Oh, did you want one?
Oh,
Sorry.
Yeah, I
Over
kind
here.
of wanted some more.
Let me just top you guys off. I'll be out of your way in just a second. Don't worry about it.
No, this is fine. This is my life. The other thing is you must not make any bargains with them. They will try their best to make bargains with you. Do not accept any bargains. Do not agree to anything. Something that will work in our favor, if the stories are correct and what I know of the Fae to be correct, is they cannot lie to you. If you ask a question thrice, on the third time, they have to tell you the truth, but they will be deceptive in their answers. Everyone must be on their guard 100% when speaking with them. Do I make myself clear?
Is this separate checks?
No, I've got it. This is on me. I've got this one.
Do you need a box or are you okay?
I can't believe. Yes, actually, I would love a box, please. That would be great. Do you have any of the wet wipes? I like the wet wipes.
Sure, hon. I'll get you some.
Thank you very much.
I have a hard time hiding my laugh.
Does anyone have any questions before we do this? Any concerns?
Do they have wings?
Do fairies have wings?
Yeah.
Some of them do. Disney has bastardized this. This is not Tinkerbell. We're not going to be meeting cute little fairies that dance in flowers. Like, these are cold, conniving, manipulative beings. And luckily, we're dealing with the summer court, so they're less so than the winter court.
So you fit right in.
Yes, well, that's probably the nicest thing you've ever said to me, Q. You're working
So you're
your way.
saying the summer court's warmer?
Yes, the summer court is warmer, and that's why we're waiting until tomorrow. They only come alive. They come alive more when the sun is up. Right now, we are more on the winter court side of things. So I think we have a better chance of interacting with them at sunrise.
Less Disney, more Guillermo del Toro.
Exactly. Yes. Very good. More Guillermo. Less,
Yeah, I don't know what that means. This is going to be fun.
All right. Yes, fun. That's a word that people say sometimes for things, not for this. Zuki, look at me.
Yeah. Yes.
This is this is work. You understand this, right? This is
Oh.
work. If myself or Keel or if any of us tell you to run and hide, you're listening to what we're saying, right? I don't want you to die.
Okay.
Fairies.
So
The earth is doomed.
Hey,
Listen,
can we go
I have
back
my
to
dad's
that?
scimitar. It's really cool. Okay.
Can we go
All right.
back to that die part?
The fairies have been known to strike bargains with people and have them dance until their feet fall off.
Oh, that sounds really scary. Oh no, dancing. Woo.
Zuki, what if a fairy walked up to you and offered you your heart?
Wait, walked or flew?
What if a fairy flew up to you and offered you your heart's desire? The thing you want most in this world, your secret, deepest want on this plane of existence, and all they want for it is your eternal soul. Are you willing to say no? We all of us have wants and needs and desires in this world, and we haven't worked together long enough to know what those are. But we are dealing with beings of power here. The time for games is done, children. Yes, Nick. What is it?
I mean, I'd for sure trade her soul. That'd be awesome.
Okay. Yeah, well, I'm kind of excited as well too. But I really did the voice come across good? Did it sound scary? It was fun to get scary.
It was cool. I was really into it.
Was it good? You were into it?
Yeah, I was it totally.
But no, serious time. It's serious space again. Let us all rest, and we'll meet at We'll meet at a coffee shop, and we'll go from there. Bring your A game.
Is this something I need to worry about with Clovis? How would he react to these fairies?
Clovis seems to take your lead, and most fairies tend to stay away from animals. Animals can't make bargains. As long as you don't specifically partake, Clovis should be fine.
I just want to make sure we're not going to have any accidents or anything.
Just keep him contained.
Cool.
And please, for the love of God, this is the most important thing. Above all, not accepting gifts. Above all, not eating food. Do not let him take a number 1 or a number 2 on anything while we're there. He's got to hold it.
Have you ever tried to hold it before?
On that note, I bid you all good night.
Reg, real quick. What about our Ben issue?
Your what issue?
Our Ben issue.
Oh. Yes. I'm not sure. But I'm open
Okay.
to suggestions.
I mean, I trust you. Whatever you want to do. You kind of did get called on the carpet, so are we in trouble? This is not good.
All right. Cards on the table. I'm not a huge fan of Ben. I don't respond well to authority, and I don't like anyone who tries to force magic users or people of a certain way to act in a way contrary to how they want to behave. Which sounds completely contradictory to me being British. But there it is. I don't fault any of you that want to work with Ben. I've worked with them in the past because needs must when the devil drives. But I am not going to purposely seek out their approval. And they have told us to stop investigating this, and you can see how much that's had an effect on me. Keel, it seems like you had a similar reaction. And Nick, I can't tell you your business. They assigned me to mentor you, but I'm mentoring you to the best of my capabilities, and my capabilities are telling me to tell them to F off. So
I'm good with it.
all right.
I mean, obviously, I'm doing what they told me if I follow your lead. So
Well, that's
So-
right.
Reg, in the middle of like your wrap up of your speech, you just see Keel suddenly jump up and turn and look at the window.
I grab my sword and look out the window.
And here, let me tell you, Keel, what you saw.
Secret message. First
Secret message. So does someone want to, like, I don't know, shill or something like that for the channel while I send the secret message?
Hey everybody.
Talk about giveaways or something.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Something Wicked. Please tell your friends. Do post on Facebook. You heard Charles. He might be trying to see what we can do about extending this to more Tuesdays. I know that I definitely would do it because I miss these guys like a fat kid misses a cannoli. So, and we're having a blast. We hope you're having fun watching. So get those bits, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff.
I'm the fat kid. He's the cannoli.
That's right. For the further adventures of the heroes and their cockroach sidekick.
That's me.
Cockroach and friends.
Cockroach and friends.
You know, I never dreamed that cockroach would be my most frequent wild shape change.
Coming this Saturday to whatever.
Well, you are in Florida, right? So
I know, but it's really useful. I really never dreamed how useful it would be.
She
I
I
have
know,
a
right?
whole new respect for cockroaches.
Yeah.
They're still not going to live in my house.
no, God no. But
Snakes
kill
might.
them, burn them with fire.
Snakes.
kill it with fire.
My wife hates spiders, and she tried to do that with the spiders. She
All right, Gil.
lit some aerosol.
All right. Keeping my eyes fixedly intent on the window, trying to track whatever it was that I saw. I'll kind of keep it quiet for now, just doing my best to kind of see where it's headed.
It's out of sight. You caught a glimpse of it and you were like, you don't know how you knew it was there, but you just knew, like something inside of you knew it was there, and you turned and you saw it, and it locked eyes with you for a moment and then flew off.
Okay.
Keel, are you all right?
We're being followed very intently.
Follow.
By what?
Not exactly sure what it was, but it looked like a bird, but it had these very distinct glowing red eyes.
Was it
What-
like bird size or like
It was
big
bigger.
size?
It was probably about the size of a hawk or so.
So bird size, just hawk bird size, not tiny bird size.
Sure.
Got it. Okay.
Something not good.
Reginald regrets taking Suki to the fairy world already. Like, do any of us recognize what this
Yeah, based
creature
on his
was?
description, is there any kind of maybe like research or historical or arcana?
I mean, it could be any number of things. I mean, there are different sorts of, demonic creatures that have red eyes. There
Polymorphic?
could be some kind of a shapeshifter. Maybe if he tried to sketch it out, it might give you some ideas.
Well, I give him a napkin and a pencil and ask him to do that. I want to go outside.
Okay.
I was gonna
That's
say
right.
the same thing. Just
Do I-
nonchalantly.
Yeah. Do I smell anything?
Perception for me.
Yeah, I was gonna do the same thing. I was gonna
Yeah,
just
I'm
kind
not
of
gonna
like,
let him go alone.
go, oh, I gotta take a smoke real quick, and sort of had like I'm walk outside, take a smoke real fast, and have Clovis do the same thing. Take a look around, use my survival instincts, kind of a thing. See if I can notice something following us or anything like that.
It's my second nat 20 of the evening, and it wasn't on an attack roll. So perception nat 20.
You are smelling faint traces of magic again, like you did earlier. Similar but different in some fundamental way. That even with that nat 20, it's still far enough outside your experience that you can't put your finger on what it is that you're sensing that's different. But there is definitely an oily feel to the air again.
Brimstone?
No, you don't think brimstone. It's an energy you're almost 100% certain you've not experienced, at least not like this.
All right.
And give me a Keel, give me a performance check. See how well you draw. We haven't used performance yet.
So Keel never really drew or anything. Do you want me to do that at just as a straight roll?
Do a performance skill.
Okay.
Whatever your plus is for performance. See, I told you we're hitting as many skills as we can.
So
He's
total
got-
of total of 14.
14. I mean, you do a passable representation, and you can tell where you've gone wrong and stuff, but you're on a napkin with a pencil, so erasing and stuff, you're just going to make a bigger mess. So you're kind of pointing out and saying, well, the head was a little bit bigger. And as you guys are looking at this, it looks like a distorted version of an amalgamation of different birds, like a hawk, a raven, maybe an owl, and just kind of twisted together like something that didn't exactly know what a bird was made it, and made it to look as close to a bird as it could. And so, it could be some kind of a shapeshifter, it could be something else, but you don't think based on the drawing that it was like a bat or something, or like a vampire, part way between forms. It seems unlikely that it was something like that.
So first
So-
we have glowy spectral hound, and now shadowy red-eyed bird thing.
So-
Brian, perception check of the restaurant to see if anybody's paying too much attention to us.
Okay.
18.
It's still reasonably empty in here, so there's not a whole lot of attention being paid to you guys. I mean, your waitress has come over to top off your coffee a couple times, and
Okay.
So over the past few months, been doing research on stuff like it. Would have any of this come up before in the intensive research that I've been doing to try to figure out what's going on, this new experience, the ethereal that I've started to experience?
it might have, but you haven't come across anything like this. This seems very different to what you're experiencing.
So while I'm still outside, I'm gonna kind of walk over towards where it may have been with Clovis, kind of give him a bathroom break real fast. Try and see if maybe I can figure out where it may have gone to, look for any markings it may have left behind on trees or anything.
And you do a search again, and go ahead, give me a perception check,
Nat 1.
and go ahead and give me one for Clovis as well.
That's gonna be a 19.
Okay. The two of you search the area, and you're finding a significant lack of clues and evidence, like no markings or anything at all.
Okay, we don't see any fog or anything?
No fog at this particular moment.
Gonna go ahead and head back inside then.
Okay.
We share our findings with the table and take a look at his drawing. Does that spark anything for anyone?
Again, nothing you've seen before.
All right. Can I take a picture of it on my phone?
Sure.
I do that.
You know what? I've got an idea. It may or may not work because it may be long gone. I can detect magic, but it would have to be within 30 feet. But anything that's any creature, any object, something like that, I could go outside and look around.
You could try. My instincts are that whatever was here, whoever Keel has in his
gone.
back corner might
I'm
have
feeling the same way.
informed him. So I would rather you not expend energy when
Yep.
we don't know if our night is over.
Yeah, that's the only problem is if I knew that we were going straight back and that we were going to rest, it would be one thing, but
I would recommend that people head to their places of rest in pairs. Do not go by yourselves tonight.
I
Be
recommend that
better
we
to-
should all stay together.
Agreed.
So Chuck's getting a little bit paranoid. He's gonna try and check the food real quick, kind of smell it, maybe kind of like grab a little bit in his hand, kind of let Clovis smell a little bit too, just to see if maybe I don't know. He's just getting a little bit paranoid.
Okay. What's he looking for?
Just if it smells off, or maybe there's something been
Okay.
introduced into it. Maybe someone's trying to affect us, because obviously someone's trying to follow us. So maybe they're trying to
Okay.
do something to us.
Go ahead. Give me an investigation.
Investigation, okay. Ugh. That's gonna be a 18.
Okay. You don't. Neither you nor Clovis smell anything unusual in the food. The texture doesn't seem off. Seems like it's just food.
I love the idea of this turning into a very sitcom-like situation. So I will volunteer my flat as the headquarters and just big old-fashioned sleepover, just air mattresses and blankets and let people take over the living room, and all the guys just staying out there and sleeping in chairs and stuff, and Zuki getting this big bed all to herself if she wants it. Like, but I offer that to all of you, which is something I've never ever done before. Invited people in to the sanctum, but yes.
Is everybody down with that?
Well,
Sure.
knowing that I'm
I get a nice
heading
big
to an
comfy
empty
bed.
hostel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would imagine that between the 6 of you, there's probably enough. I mean, I don't think Zuki or Zephyr have vehicles. But between the other 4, we can probably get the 6 of you transported to Reg's place.
Before we leave, I want to kind of do a real quick look around just to see if maybe there's a normal person that's also been kind of falling asleep. If there's anybody that recognized, maybe I've seen before today, maybe
Okay.
any smells that Clovis had smelt that were people that he may have sensed earlier today also, like the waitress or anything like that.
Okay, go ahead.
Perception check for both of us.
Yep.
Okay. It's going to be a 13 for myself and a 9 for Clovis.
You don't recognize anybody from different points in the day. As far as you can tell, nobody around you.
All right. Yeah. We head back to the flat, and I
Well,
set
I
up.
think we better wave down the waitress and take care of this bill.
Oh yes, that's right.
You
Excuse
did
me.
say you're taking care of this, Reggie, right?
Yes, I've got it. Why not? We're staying at my place anyway. Yes, Flo, Garçon. and
Oh
then-
yeah, I'll be right there. I'm sorry, I was just making a fresh pot.
All right. Why don't we call an Uber then, and we'll pay the bill, and then we'll head to
Okay.
my place.
Okay.
Does anyone want to do anything before we rest for the evening? Does anyone have any pressing matters to attend to?
Have we done any research on the weird fogs yet?
I couldn't find anything on the Spectral Hound, but
The only
I'm
Zephyr's
good.
Feeling
I'm
pretty
just lying in the
tired.
big comfy bed.
yes, I'm anticipating having to burn the sheets after you wake up.
Okay, I'll take a shower first. Jeez.
All right. Brian, this
And
is
then put the exact same clothes back on, right?
yes,
Yes.
exactly. Yes. While people are researching, I want to try something, and let me know if I can do
Okay.
this. Using a courier service, I want to send a bottle of whiskey, of Irish whiskey, to the brother of Liam Murphy, and essentially apologize and be like,
Okay.
I sometimes forget in this business that there are actual people. I understand what it is to lose family. Don't please try to forgive me and my curtness. I'm not good with people. First drinks on me, and then I will retire for the evening. But I will
Oh.
task the courier.
Okay, so with your contacts, you can probably find a courier that works at this hour, but it's going to be a little bit pricier and might strain some of your. You can do it, but it might strain your ability to do some other things later this month.
I'll save it for the morning.
Okay.
I'm not going to pay the upcharge, but I'll wait for the morning. It doesn't have to go out this evening. I'd rather not tax my resources.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. So anybody else doing anything before retiring for the evening?
Zephyr's tired. He's ready for a bed somewhere.
Yes.
I just suggest
Okay.
we keep a watch just in case something goes bump in the night.
So, since we're about to go to bed, I'm going to use, I think it's Speak with Animals on
Okay.
Clovis. Like I said, we don't actually speak telepathically, but we have a good
Right.
rapport. So this allows
Yep.
me to maybe speak to them directly to see if there's
his
anything that
thoughts,
he
yeah.
picked up through the day that I did not notice. So since I didn't need to use it at all, I'm gonna go ahead and use it now. Is there anything that I need to do for that?
No, just say what you're saying. Just talk to Clovis. Just
Yeah, to see if there's anything that he'd noticed, like any smells that stuck out to him, any weird, animal vibes that may have like come out. Like, did you know how sometimes animals can feel like, oh, this is a bad animal, this is a good animal, kind of a thing. With the
Yep.
beasts that we ran into and stuff like that.
He kind of cocks his head for a second. He says, "That girl is nice. She gave me a cannoli."
I'll make sure to get you another one in the morning.
Thanks. Other than that, it's been pretty strange day.
Yes, it has. It's unfortunate we had to go through that incident again. It's a good thing we weren't inside this time. And we kind of both just get really kind of quiet and somber.
You think this guy that's letting us sleep here, you think he's got any food for me?
I'll find you something. I'm pretty sure
We
he's
didn't
got
go
something.
home, and
Yeah, I was
getting
just
kibble
going
or
to
anything.
ask.
A little hungry.
How about some steak maybe or something? I'm sure I can find you something.
Oh, steak.
Yeah.
His tongue kind of hangs out the side of his mouth. He's like,
Maybe I can get you a beer too.
this
Just
is
a
the
little
good
bit.
life.
You know how it is, just a little bit.
I know. You said you don't want me to get addicted to it. I gotcha. Chuck, you're all right.
Yeah. You're my best friend, man.
Hey, you're mine. There he goes. He licks your hand.
Give him a little rub his ears like he likes it. So, and then I was like, "Let me go get some food for you, bud."
Okay. So
Zuki sets up an elaborate system on the door with the string and stuff, so that if anybody opens the door in the middle of the night, it's going to knock something off a chair. It's super elaborate and super basic, but she's not super trusting.
Except for knocks a book off in another room. She sets it up wrong.
She set these things up before.
yeah, I'm not. I feel like this one doesn't need a roll.
All right. Yeah.
Okay, so you give him some food from the fridge for Clovis.
Yeah, I search the fridge and try to give everybody a little something. It's definitely not for house guests, but what I have is at their disposal. So I'm sure there's not steak, but there's probably frozen chicken in the freezer. There's a 6-pack of beer that I bought and then just forgot I had. It's in the back of the fridge. It's, Corona.
There's always cannoli.
And there's tons of cannoli. We're up to here in cannoli. Like,
Happy even spot, Dick.
So
Yeah.
can I use sleight of hand real fast? And I wanted to just slip a couple bills into Reginald's jacket without him noticing.
So that'd be a sleight of hand.
Yeah, it'd be a 15 roll.
Okay, so go ahead and give me a perception. See if your perception beats his sleight of hand.
16, so it just beats it by 1.
So it's up to you what you do with it, but you just barely feel a hand slipping into your pocket.
Do I know what it's doing?
Well, no. I mean, you just the perception detects that someone is like.
Yeah. I don't do anything.
Okay.
They either need money or they're planting something in there, but I will immediately check the pocket after I walk away.
So like you kind of duck out of sight and you find there's some cash there.
Ooh, this is a reverse pickpocket. That's nice.
All right. Anybody else doing anything before bed?
Zephyr's already asleep. Found a nice comfortable chair and curled up in it, and he's gone.
can we say for somebody who has such a wispy voice, he snores louder than anyone I've ever heard in my entire life. Like,
Me.
So
It's a real high pitched snore.
All right, so everybody crashes out for the evening.
yes.
Yeah.
Ready for the next day.
All right, so as you guys drift off to sleep at varying points in time, most of you have fairly restful nights of sleep. I mean, all things considered, Zephyr, you have a great night's sleep because I mean, this is some great accommodations for you. The rest of you, you're kind of, lounging around what's essentially a bachelor pad type apartment, and so the comfortable space is hard to come by. And Zuki, you would have figured had the best night's sleep, but for some reason, it feels very restless to her. And Zuki, in your dreams, you see flashes of light and darkness, kind of similar to what Keel had described. And then you see a hand reach in and just slowly wave, and the darkness and the light recede. And you hear a voice inside your mind saying, "Soon, my child, soon." And because she is asleep, she does not see the figure drift through the window and out of the room. And that's where we're going to leave off tonight.
Oh, I had a feeling that was coming.
Yep.
Are you guys ready to kick ass on the fairy court next time?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So there you go.
Oh, there we go. Now there I am.
There you
I
are.
muted myself. Let's
I
take
was
a
like,
moment to
where did
thank
Charles
everybody
go?
for showing up tonight. It has been an absolute blast. I appreciate everybody coming in. Congratulations to that person out there in Utah. You have escalated the war. I will be meeting with the Montana Defense Unity Coalition.
Are you kidding? Did he win again? Are you kidding me?
Well, the little one did. So the big one didn't. The other big one didn't, and well, the one that's not as big as the other big ones didn't, or did. So yeah, somebody always wins from that place. So that's the way it
Just
goes.
in
I'm
our
gonna go
defense.
ahead and let Bryway go ahead and send it around the horn for his people before we close it out. Then I have a couple closing comments, and we will hopefully go do a raid.
All right, out of his sticks.
Really enjoyed tonight. Would love to see this move to a weekly, if possible. I think that'd be really, really fun. But
Okay,
loved everything
Wolf.
tonight.
I would kill for a weekly. I think it would be awesome. And if we could make that happen, it would be great. Had a great time tonight, guys. Appreciate it.
Pat.
Yeah, I agree. Just want to send some thanks out to everyone who's watching. We appreciate you guys being here. This wouldn't be if it wasn't for you guys. So thank you so much.
Nitro.
Yes, we should definitely get this on a weekly, and if not, we should cut off some fingers to make it happen.
That's a little dark, but okay. I like where your head's at. That guy.
Last week, I said that I had a great time and I would play with you guys anytime, anywhere. This week, I'm happy to say that stands still true. Let's make it happen, Captain. This was a blast. You guys are all good people, and I'm digging where these characters are going already, and it's only session 2.
Yep.
Ugh.
Callie.
I have never had so much fun being a cockroach. Let's do this every Tuesday.
There's the quote of the night. I have never had so much fun being a cockroach.
That's the
right there.
tagline on the movie.
That's the tagline. Of roaches and cannolis. That's the title of tonight's episode. I think. There
Oh
we
my
go.
gosh.
Yeah, I want to thank all of you guys. Everybody brought solid A game. I feel like if we keep promoting this, we're going to have a really good audience out there for this. You guys have great characters, great rapport, great chemistry. I love the story we're telling. I love the world we're telling it in, and I cannot wait for what happens next. Back over to
Well
you,
done.
Charles.
All right. I do not see anybody I feel like raiding tonight. If I'm going to raid, it's just going to be to stop somebody with the illegal PDFs, but I'm not going to do that tonight. I'll let him have his fun. So with that, if anybody wants to come over and hang out on the voice chat, I'm sure there's going to be at least a couple people over in there. Well, I'm going to go ahead and make a blockbuster announcement because I cannot get people to respond. I have 2 of the players in this game right here that are 2 of the players in that Storm King's Thunder game, which is Wolfgarin and Nitro. Can you guys play on Thursday nights in that game?
For sure.
I am going to have to
It's every
talk to the
Tuesday.
boss.
Then I will not make an announcement. It all hangs on Wolfgarin. Let's blame Utah if it does not go weekly, because I will not pull a player out of that game. because
I
it
will
would not
have an
be
answer
fair.
for you.
But yeah, give me an answer as soon as you can. I am working with that DM, and we'll go from there. So hopefully sometime this week we'll have an announcement. So come on, hang out over in the voice chat, and we will see you guys all later. So for now, this is the disembodied voice of Forge at the Table saying, hey, peace. Let's play some games.